So I happened to be there in Israel too.
And so I was on a pilgrimage with my mom in Israel, and I turned around and I saw someone who looked super familiar.
Let everyone see what true evil is. This is something that could impact a generation and generations to come.
Does anyone else think this is Erika Kirk putting in fake tears into her eyes?
Y'all, this Erika Kirk Israeli honeypot story just got
on social media are claiming that Erika's mask is finally coming off, since Charlie Kirk's sister published text conversations this time that, in her opinion, shouldn't have been made public. The entire narrative of Charlie and Erika's ostensibly fated marriage has been completely upended by those communications. The leaked information claimed that Charlie was unaware of the identity of the woman he married. He used to think they were predetermined. However, it appears that someone else set everything up now. Some claim that Erika was there to influence the narrative of Turning Point USA, develop an image, and draw sponsors in addition to falling in love. Erika's honey trap notion is gaining traction at an alarming rate. She may have had close ties to international intelligence and sponsors, according to certain accusations. Charlie is alleged to have been under pressure in the months preceding the tragic incident. Now, what is yet unknown is more frightening than what we already know. There seems to be much more to the Erika Kirk rabbit hole. Do people truly think that Erika Kirk's marriage, dating, and job interview were all coincidences? Nothing is a coincidence, she said. Additionally, the most recent text messages that were purportedly leaked from a private family conversation are already causing a stir on social media. Charlie tells his sister in one, "I don't even feel like I know her. No longer." It sounds depressing and catastrophic at the same time. Charlie seems to be grumbling about how Erika has radically changed in the year prior to the event, particularly the way she began acting like Turning Point USA's true power and making important decisions without his input. Erika's actions during that period were so out of the ordinary, according to a TPUSA whistleblower, that it seemed as though she was getting ready for a new position that would take Charlie's place. Things appeared to shift little but significantly each time Erika attended Turning Point events. A few posts underwent editing. A few individuals on the attendance list vanished out of nowhere without justification. Rather, there were strange faces. They were always there watching, taking notes and making adjustments to every small detail, but no one knew who they were. Nobody mentioned it out loud. Nobody dared to doubt it. However, one former worker claimed that they felt as though they were no longer in charge of the company. They were being observed. Erika and her group didn't take over right away. It was all done calmly and deliberately, like if it were a reaction test. And if these communications are accurate, it's possible that we've all only witnessed the beginning of a lengthy conspiracy. The latest leaked text messages, allegedly from a private family conversation, are making waves on social media.
Really believe that job interview turned date turned marriage was a coincidence? Well, in Erika Kirk's own words, nothing is a coincidence.
But nothing is by coincidence.
Everything was done quietly, methodically, like a test of reaction. And if these messages are true, perhaps we've all just seen the idea.
Every time Erika got involved in a Turning Point event, something felt off. People got pulled from their posts for no clear reason, replaced with names nobody recognized. They weren't loud about it. They just appeared. They'd hover, take notes, make little adjustments. It wasn't like they were running things outright, more like they were watching, testing reactions. And they did strange things, subtle stuff, asking for background checks on volunteers who'd already cleared, rerouting internal comms through temporary systems nobody could verify, requesting access to attendee lists that had nothing to do with their role. What most people don't realize is that Erika had already started acting like CEO before Charlie even died. She was giving orders, making executive calls, speaking for the organization in ways that made all of us uncomfortable.
That's the story from a former Turning Point USA insider. And it opens another layer of smoke around the relationship between Charlie and Erika Kirk. According to what's been circulated,
The way you are treating me is so repulsive. I have text messages, Megan, calling me an anti-Semite. My moral character is now being put into question, Megan. Not my decisions. Not like, hey, are you doing this? Is it smart or is it dumb? But no, I am a bad person if I do this.
Charlie was under tremendous pressure from some of TPUSA's powerful donors, people who allegedly pressured, even threatened him, because he wanted to bring the organization back to the path of transparency. Meanwhile, Erika, his wife, who seemed to be standing by his side, began making executive decisions, calling, directing, and gradually pushing him out of the organization he founded. And it was at that point that things began to take a darker turn. Many insiders began to suspect that this might have been a long-planned affair, and that Erika was not just Charlie's partner, but a deliberately planted strategic factor, someone tasked with reporting to the forces that funded and manipulated the organization. The question is, where is the real evidence? First, let's look back at the fateful story of their first meeting. The official story the public has ever heard is Charlie and Erika first met in 2018 in New York City at a business dinner at Bill's Burgers. People thought it was a normal interview, but when you look back at the account, the details start to make you think. I was invited to Bill's Burgers, and I thought it was a business interview. Erika says, we sat down and he grilled me for 3 hours. Sounds normal enough, until you realize that Erika had no public profile in the political communications or executive fields at the time. No one knows who arranged the meeting. No one knows why an outsider had direct access to Charlie Kirk, one of the most protected figures in American conservative politics. From there, a series of theories began to emerge. Some say the interview was not a coincidence, but the first step in a larger plan, one to build trust, infiltrate, and ultimately control. And now looking back at the entire timeline, from the New York dinner to the quiet changes within TPUSA, to the moment Erika took over after the incident, it all seemed meticulously orchestrated. As one former member put it, Charlie always believed in destiny. But maybe this time destiny was written by someone else. Interview 7-218-04. That's where it all started. A seemingly chance meeting, a meal.
Bill's Burgers, and I'm there thinking it's a business interview.
It started that way.
Right. So we sit down and you grill me for what, 3 hours?
Yeah.
Easily. On philosophy, politics,
Culture.
Religion, culture,
Economics.
What else? Everything else you can imagine, he grilled me. Anything he talks about on his podcast show, he grilled me on. Pretty much.
Just didn't record it.
And then afterwards, he got finished with his burger and he just sat there and he looked at me and he's like, you know what? I'm not going to hire you. I was like, that's fine. I don't need this job. I'm doing plenty of other things here in Manhattan. He's like, I'm going to date you.
It all began.
A meal between two strangers developed into a romantic connection that resulted in a nationally publicized marriage. But given what is now known, a lot of people think that it might not have been so coincidental. In a different interview, Erika claimed to have encountered Charlie at the Tel Aviv airport when traveling to Israel with her mother prior to their meeting in New York. She claimed that at the time, all she knew about Charlie was that she had seen a young man who appeared to be familiar being escorted. However, oddly, a mutual friend whose identity is unknown connected them just days after they returned to the United States. If the hypothesis that a significant sponsor of TPUSA intended to influence Charlie by introducing a particular someone into his life, but why Erika? What was it about her that made her the ideal applicant for a mission this complex? Erika's parents had strong ties to the military and intelligence, according to freshly released records. So many started looking back to her family history for an answer. According to people close to the Kirk family, Mary, Charlie's sister, never trusted Erika for reasons other than sentimentality. According to reports, Mary uncovered odd information about Erika's family history and activities that the general public was mainly unaware of. In an earlier interview, Erika stated that her mother had previously relocated to Arizona in order to pursue a business opportunity associated with the Department of Homeland Security, or DHS. Interview Taun 35:9.53. She claims that her mother's business partner is a former security consultant who reportedly worked on a DHS project. After then, the family swiftly grew its sphere of influence in the Scottsdale region of Phoenix. which is home to numerous private military companies. Because of this, some have come to the conclusion that Erika's involvement in Charlie's life is both strategic and emotional, because Turning Point USA was starting to become as a significant political force in 2018. Charlie Kirk, who was in his early 20s at the time, was drawing the interest of prominent conservative donors as well as the media. He was thought to be independent and uncontrollable by the established powers, and the simplest way to keep him in check was to approach him rather than confront him. Erika was intelligent, endearing, well-educated, and had a history in national security. If someone wanted to influence a figure like Charlie Kirk, they wouldn't pick someone who was brash or openly confrontational, a media analyst once remarked. They would choose someone he could confide in, someone who would cause him to relax. Fun fact, Erika transformed from an outsider to TPUSA's main spokesperson in less than 2 years. She participated in advertising videos, attended internal events, and progressively garnered access to high-level meetings. For those who worked with them, it was a slow, intentional, and nuanced change of power, but to the general public it was an image of a helpful wife. The vibe in the room altered when she arrived, according to a former TPUSA employee. Instead of Charlie's opinions, people began to wait for hers. Charlie would attempt to step in when someone could force an organization to act that way, but she would simply talk over him as if he were no longer relevant. Then, only a few days, they declared her to be the new CEO upon his passing, treating her like a rescuer in the midst of a catastrophe. Anyone who had been there didn't like that. You are aware that something is happening. Many people now claim that it didn't start with a meal in New York, but with a brief moment in Israel where a quick look started a series of events that altered a political movement's course. Some people think it was fate. Some claim that the strategy was created with nearly military accuracy. And as the pieces of the story come to light, from Erika's family, connections to the intelligence community, to her quick ascent through TPUSA's hierarchy, to her eventual ascent to prominence. Following Charlie's death, one question lingers. Was this a clever tale or a true love story? A romantic disguise for an operation? Because the destiny Charlie Kirk had always believed in might not have been destiny at all if all of these hypotheses are true. But a script that long before he knew it had been pre-written line by line, step by step, step by step. Erika Kirk has always given a straightforward tale about her family. Her father, Kent, had little to do with her business or profession, and her mother was a strong, independent lady. However, as time passed and business records and historical documents were re-examined, that image no longer fit Erika's description of reality. It turns out that Lori, Erika's mother, founded Tech International, a business that deals with military, technology, and strategic security. The business has held contracts for digital warfare and data surveillance technologies since its founding. Support equipment, spaces that were previously only used by highly secure organizations. It is noteworthy that Kent, Erika's father, is prominently included on the executive list of a tech company as Director of Program Research, a role that is not just technical, but also directly tied to the application of technology initiatives in a military setting. This demonstrates that, contrary to what Erika previously suggested, her parents are partners in the same corporate network and closely collaborate on security and government-related tasks. Not long after, Miss Lori proceeded to create GTK Industries, a company that specializes in offering data analysis and digital security solutions to intelligence units, the Department of Homeland Security (DHS) and the Department of Defense (DoD). According to GTK Industries' profile page, primary goals of supporting technology security infrastructure, assessing national hazards, and improving the protection of technological borders. Although the statement may sound dull, industry insiders understand it to signify that the corporation is actively engaged in the gathering, processing and monitoring of strategic information in the United States system. At this point, people start to wonder, was Erika Kirk from that family background being groomed for a more special role than the public realizes? According to a former Phoenix employee, Aztec and GTK are not large, well-known enterprises, yet they have contracts that pique the interest of many, very private initiatives with unidentified financial sources. It is never merely a coincidence. However, a charity organization of which Erika was extremely proud is the most enigmatic aspect of the entire narrative. Angels from Romania. She claims that it is a humanitarian group that collaborates with the US troops to provide love and hope to Romanian orphans over the holiday season. Erika has a kind voice when she appears in commercial videos. Through the Romanian Angels project, we hope to demonstrate to these kids what it means to be an American during the holidays. And there's no better way to accomplish it than to have the gift personally delivered by members of our US military. It sounds kind and sympathetic. However, when independent journalists and internet users started looking into the organization's genuine headquarters location, they discovered something was wrong. Public information indicates that Romanian Angels operates close to a US military installation in Eastern Europe, which has been the subject of numerous contentious reports regarding the administration of orphanages and unresolved disappearances. Naturally, there isn't any concrete proof linking Erika's group to those incidents. However, the public wonders if charity is only a front for a more sinister objective due to the project's ambiguous provenance and geographical coincidence. Notably, Lori, Erika's mother, was a major proponent of Romanian Angels at first. The organization's first promotional film included her as the primary narrator and acknowledged her as a co-founder. In the previous video, Lori grinned and discussed a charitable endeavor that aims to use technology to link the generosity of Americans with the children of Europe. But after only a few years, Lori's affiliation with the group has all but vanished. The founding profile no longer included her name. Articles that discuss the partnership between Romanian Angels and AZ Tech has been removed. Additionally, Lori only responded, "I am no longer involved in it," when questioned in recent interviews. A former project communications officer remembered, "I recall how proud Lori was to speak concerning Romanian Angels. However, she then stated, we should keep it quiet." Everyone knew she had altered her mind, but no one asked why. Why would someone who used to boast about her philanthropic endeavors abruptly sever all connections with the project she assisted in founding? Was there a behind-the-scenes activity? Something that happened, something that was reported in the media, or a delicate relationship that she didn't want to share? Many people think that Romanian Erika's family may manage a wider network where technology, defense, and humanitarian activity converge, of which Angels may be only one branch. Additionally, some experts think that these programs are frequently created to strike a balance between strategic objectives and public perception. Although nobody can say one thing is certain for sure. The family of Erika Kirk is unique. Any observer must pay attention to the places, fields, and times in which they appear. And if AZ International, GTK Industries, and Romanian Angels are all genuinely connected, then Erika's story is no longer only the tale of a strong woman. It turns into an enigmatic network of global influence, technology, and power, where everything is covered in charming tales, uplifting smiles, and lovely-sounding humanitarian initiatives. However, occasionally the cutest things are the thin mist that conceals what is off-limits. And what better way to win over the public's hearts than to have the US military itself provide gifts to kids? Erika Kirk once summed up her work with Project Angel Romania in a way that was both lovely and too flawless to be suspicious. However, things begin to lose their intrinsic unpredictability when you combine all the details. Erika once said that when traveling to Israel on a trip with her mother, she happened to run across Charlie Kirk at the airport. It seems like a charming tale with a touch of fate, but given the circumstances, was it truly just a spiritual journey? Or was Lori, Erika's mother, there for intelligence or defense work similar to what she has done in the past? After that, there was another coincidence that made it harder to overlook. When Erika was still in the beauty pageant industry, she worked for Donald Trump's campaign. In the meantime, one of the engineers who developed Trump Tower in Chicago was Charlie Kirk's father, Robert Kirk. Two strong names and companies were at the center of seemingly unrelated pathways that coincidentally came together in the same orbit. Can Charlie and Erika's meeting still be regarded as a coincidence in light of all those details? Or was it a thread that had been deftly spun beforehand, constrained by contracts, forces, and relationships that were beyond the control of the individuals involved? After Charlie died following a tragic event, Erika's actions left many people perplexed. Erika frequently grinned at the camera in the pictures and videos that went viral, looking intimately with other males during the memorial service. "She is not someone I trust," She was, I believe, arranged to be his wife. Then if he switches jackets, because if you stare at her like since she's assuming the role of turning moment, correct? You have a bereaved wife in less than 2 weeks, and she immediately appears on a podcast, correct? Hello, grinning. Yes, I do recall the moment we were formed in front of. Everyone is grinning, JFK style, yes. That's strange then. I take it that's the top one, Memorial. Can we all agree that it appeared to be a WWE event? Similar to I take it that was WrestleMania. All the fireworks. What is this, I wonder? The memorial was rescheduled from Charlie's homeland of Illinois to Arizona, where Erika's family resides, and where her mother's the company's headquarters. The persons closest to Charlie Kirk, her parents and sister, failed to attend the memorial. According to a number of people close to the family, they didn't like how the celebration was planned and thought something wasn't quite right. Next, another. There were rumors that Charlie's body was removed from Air Force 2 prior to the official autopsy, and that J.D. Vance, Charlie's close political friend, had interfered with the repatriation process from Utah. Naturally, no one has verified this, and there is no conclusive proof, but the public's suspicions have only grown as a result of those involved remaining silent. Every aspect of this tale, from Israel to New York, from Arizona to Washington, D.C., feels oddly interconnected. A memorial service that was relocated from its hometown, a non-profit organization close to a military installation, a chance encounter, a family with connections to the defense sector, and a string of unexplained acts in the early aftermath of the occurrence. Maybe, as one widely shared comment stated, in a fiction, sometimes nothing is a coincidence anymore because there are so many of them. Right now, the only thing that is definite is that someone is concealing something. And all of Erika Kirk's actions, words, and smiles will be closely watched until the truth is out. Not maliciously, but because the general public's intuition is almost always correct. There is more to this story than just a marriage and the gossip about a strong woman. It serves as a reminder that the truth is rarely obvious in today's environment. Every handshake, every grin, and every unintentional pledge can be meticulously planned. Sometimes what appears to be fate is actually a tactic masquerading as feeling. Nowadays, information can be misrepresented, and people fabricate flawless pictures to conceal things that no one is permitted to know. Therefore, understanding when to ask the correct questions is more crucial than choose who to believe, because stories that are conveyed too skillfully can sometimes blind us more than lies. How about you? Is this a prearranged plot? Or do you think it's just a coincidence? Tell me what you think by leaving a comment below. If you would like me to keep researching J.D. Vance's position and the financial network behind TPU, please remember to like, then sign up to ensure you don't miss the upcoming section where we'll discuss realities that nobody wants to be exposed. Because there are moments when stillness is the language of authority.